Welcome to Flick Favorites. I'm going to explain an American thriller, drama, action film from 2012 titled Man on a Ledge. This movie has a surprisingly good story. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the content. Nick Cassidy is a former police officer and fugitive prisoner. After a delicious dinner, he thoroughly cleans the room, leaving only a single note as a reminder of himself. The motel where Nick will spend some of the most significant hours of his life is where he opens the window and steps outside onto the ledge. We have to go back a month earlier to discover why he is acting in that manner. Nick was in prison at the time, and the judge refused his final appeal. He will be needed to complete his 25-year term. His ex-partner with Mike Ackerman visits him in jail to break the news that his father is passing away. He assures him that he will secure a day outside so he can see him. Nick, however, is only permitted to attend his funeral. Both Nick and his brother Joey receive the condolences of Mike and his fiancée. Angie, the girlfriend of his brother, gives them a private moment to speak. The brothers argue and then start to fight, which Nick's security personnel quickly break up, giving Nick the chance to steal one of their guns. Armed, he forces Joey to release his handcuffs, damages the jail guard's car, and drives away in his brother's car. He comfortably manages the next police chase through the cemetery. He hits a moving train with his car while they are on the chase, but gets to escape before the police can catch up to him. When Nick arrives at a hiding place, he discovers that everything he might need has been left there by his accomplice. Back at the Roosevelt, the authorities are already aware of the situation with Nick and they're shutting down the block. Along with Detective Jack Doherty, police and emergency vehicles appear at the scene. He enters the room without delay, announces himself to Nick, and says he is there to assist. At the base of the hotel, where a crowd has congregated to watch the spectacle, Detective Dante Marcus is in charge of keeping things under control. First in, Doherty gives it his all, but makes an effort to persuade Nick to return. Nick threatens to leap unless he finds another negotiator. "I will leave this world as I entered it, innocent." The detective enters the room again and is greeted by Marcus. They both read Nick's final note. Marcus wants to print the room to learn more about him because they still don't know who he is. Doherty calls the negotiator Lydia Mercer and tells her that they have a jumper who has requested her specifically. Since they continue to believe Nick is Joe Walker, Marcus' squad is already looking into him. Doherty notifies Mercer of the situation when she arrives at the hotel and lets her know that he will jump in 2 minutes. Mercer surveys the area, gathers a little more information, and introduces herself to Nick as quickly as she can. He assures her that everything will change for him today, one way or another, and that he is willing to sacrifice his life to make that happen. If that's the case, Mercer wonders why he even brought her there. He responds that it's because she's renowned and he needs a crowd. She is given 5 minutes to collect herself because Doherty doesn't trust her. Meanwhile, Mike is looking for Nick, completely unaware of what is actually happening. He advises his colleague to look for anything unusual in the Cassidy siblings' correspondence because he believes Nick's escape to be suspicious. At this time, David Englander, the proprietor of the Roosevelt Hotel, who will play a significant role in Nick's life, is introduced to us. He is an evil, wealthy man who controls everything in the city and has no concern for the welfare of others. There were no prints in the room, Doherty tells Mercer. She tries to deceive Nick with a cigarette to get a print but is unsuccessful on her first try. Nick isn't standing on a ledge to terminate his life, but rather to make a statement, according to Mercer. She tells him that, unlike the crowd on the street, she actually cares. Joey abruptly makes a call to Nick to let him know they have arrived. To get Mercer away so he can speak to his siblings secretly, Nick tries to play mind games with her. The members of Rouse are Joey and Angie. The media joins in on the spectacle and reports on Mercer's participation in the case, bringing up an incident from last month in which she failed to stop an officer from jumping off a bridge. Simultaneously, he's talking to Joey while he and Angie are breaking into one of Englander's many properties, just on the other side of the hotel where Nick is standing. In order to set up an explosive device, Joey and Angie drill holes in the building's top as the security system is being deactivated for the night shift. As they detonate the explosive, they give Nick the go-ahead, and he raises a fuss to divert Mercer and the throng below. Nick keeps tricking Mercer. She offers him her last smoke after he requests one. Nick explains to Mercer that the reason he is so familiar with her caregiver is because they share so many interests. He pulls and tells her not to give up on him because she doesn't believe he wants to leap. When she back into the room, she hands the cigarette to Joey and Officer so they can get a print from it. Joey informs Nick that they've entered the building. Mike returns to the station in the interim and discovers information about the climber but not his identity. When a news helicopter flies perilously close to them, nearly pushing Nick over the edge, Mercer tries again to convince Nick to go back inside. Finally, Mike recognizes Nick on the news stream. He receives a call informing him that Joey has a storage facility. Joey and Angie descend Englander's building's elevator shaft. They move in the direction of Englander's vault room while he takes care of the surveillance cameras. To deal with the monitor, they use a fire extinguisher. Nick informs Mercer that he is aware she has his cigarette image and is about to identify him. Mike simultaneously visits Joey's storage unit and finds Nick's, Joe Walker's, and his own file in a cabinet. Marcus contacts Mercer after receiving Nick's prints. He identifies Nick for her and informs her that he was imprisoned for taking Englander's Monarch diamond, worth $40 million. Marcus reveals to her that he is the hotel's proprietor and that he has an office and a diamond exchange nearby. Nick's strategy to establish his innocence is known to Mercer and Doherty. She learns that Mike was his partner and calls him to clarify the situation. He is burning the files he discovered in storage. Marcus checks the phone and contacts Englander's security to open the vault. Joey and Angie are simultaneously attempting to enter the vault from the outside. Mercer approaches Nick and challenges him to explain the significance of his stunt. Joey panics when Nick orders her to dispatch a team to the diamond exchange because they haven't finished there yet. He insists that Englander had set him up for stealing the diamond and that he is innocent and requires Mercer's assistance. She doesn't think he's real. Nick then urges the audience to support him by stating that his retrial is below this. Police are simultaneously leading Englander's security toward the other structure. Nick informs Joey of the situation and begs him to buy them some time to elude capture. Nick starts throwing money off the ledge all of a sudden, and the street fills with people, making it impossible for the police and security to reach the exchange's entry. While Joey locates a hiding place for them, Angie sets up a camera to record the passcode when the security guard inputs it. Just as Angie and Joey enter the covert location, the security and police officers enter the structure and emerge. Marcus is conversing with Englander about Nick at the same time. Englander is furious about the circumstance and believes that Nick's decision to carry out his stunt on the same day as his big press conference about it was not an accident. Marcus tells him not to fear, but he receives a threat that if he doesn't resolve the issue, his life will be destroyed. Marcus returns to his hotel room and gives Mercer 15 minutes to talk Nick down from the ledge or else the tactical squad will be dispatched. Mike is hurtling toward the motel in the meantime. Returning to Joey, Angie emerges from hiding and enters the vault chamber. Nick tells her about what happened and the diamond was taken after Mercer warns him that Tactical will pursue him if he doesn't get down. Nick was carrying the diamond when Englander's men jumped him, claiming they had taken it. Although Englander was on the verge of going bankrupt, he decided to purchase insurance for the diamond rather than selling it and acknowledging it. When Nick informs her that Englander's thugs were presumably cops, Mercer wants to believe him but is hesitant. When Mike appears at the hotel, he makes contact with Marcus. Mike volunteers to take some documents that a police officer brings after they were discovered in his cell. Doherty is aware of Mercer's guilt allegations, but he is confident that he was the perpetrator. She questions Marcus about it as well and informs him that Nick was helping internal affairs with a different investigation involving a police officer named Joe Walker. Marcus disputes her theory that it is related to Nick's situation. Mike denies any involvement with Englander when Mercer asks him about him. Despite Mike's insistence that they are pals, she has her own suspicions about him and won't let him get close to Nick. Angie enters the vault room by squeezing through a vent at the same moment. Joey unlocks the door to the vault chamber. Then opens the locker by drilling through it. As the tactical squad prepares to deploy, Mercer debates with Marcus and him about what they ought to do, but since none of them want to listen to her, she steps on the ledge next to Nick. Finally, Angie and Joey enter the safe and unlock it, displaying all of Englander's wealth. Sadly, they are unable to locate the diamond, and when they contact Nick to let him know, Mercer overhears Nick talking to Joey. Nick explains to her his strategy. To avoid the cops and security, they set off the alarms. Englander orders his guard to keep the police away while he investigates the vault and looks at the actual safe where he keeps the monarch. He's relieved to find it there and decides to take it with him. Mercer enters the space once more and requests a conversation with Internal Affairs. In order to talk to Nick alone, Mike comes back and drags Doherty out of the room, shutting him out. When Nick informs Mike that they are speaking with Internal Affairs, Mike becomes agitated and reaches out to grasp him. Marcus issues a tactical order at the same moment for Nick and two agents to descend. Nick succeeds in getting away from them and leaps from one ledge to the next until he returns to the motel. When the audience realizes what's happening, it becomes disorderly. Nick is running through the hotel, and Marcus and Tactical are in charge of the hunt. During this time, Englander returns to his office and finds Joey and Angie finds waiting for him there. Joey frisks him and the diamond. They force him to handcuff himself to his workplace safe, then they take the diamond. They hand the valet a bag and instruct him to hold it when they arrive at the reception. The guy removes the diamond and stores it. When Englander finds a phone, he calls Marcus to inform him that Joey has the stone. Marcus then informs Tactical that they must kill Nick because he is holding an explosive trigger. When Internal Affairs calls back, Mercer is still looking for Mike and Nick throughout the motel. The agent informs her that Mike and Marcus are the subject of circumstantial proof. The tactical squad is on the hunt for Nick. He runs into the valet who hands him his jacket with the diamond, then shows the officers in the other direction. Nick, who re-enters the ledge and ascends the building, is still caught up to them. Meanwhile, Marcus tracks down Joey and Angie and imprisons them in order to extract knowledge about the diamond. Mercer and Tactical arrive on the top before Nick does. When Marcus comes and takes Mercer into custody for obstruction, he falls to his knees. Marcus gives the command for the tactical team to retreat so that he can stay with Nick alone. As soon as they are gone, Englander drags Joey onto the roof and tells Nick that if he doesn't give him the diamond, he will murder Joey. Englander still orders Marcus to murder them after Nick returns the diamond. As soon as Mercer removes her restraints, she returns to the top. Marcus warns Nick that if he doesn't jump off the roof, his sibling will fall. Mike appears out of nowhere and shoots him down, but he also gets wounded. Mike apologizes to Nick for setting him up. Marcus is killed by Mercer, who comes in time. Nick jumps off the roof because he has nothing left to lose and luckily lands on the air mattress the police had previously set up. In front of the crowd, he pursues Englander and challenges him. To obtain the gem, Nick approaches him and knocks him to the ground. When he has it in his hands, he displays it to the audience, who applauds him. Nick is later picked up by Mercer from jail, and they go to a pub where everyone is delighted to see him. The person who is happy is his father, who was present and supporting him the entire time. With a ring he stole from Englander, Joey asks Angie to marry her in the closing seconds. I really liked the movie, the acting was really good from the whole cast and extras too. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Your support would be appreciated. I hope to see you next time.